Howdy! Time for another Gone Roger because we have Commander Masters in. But I'm in a ranty mood today, so I guess it's time to purge some subscribers because I have just been in a mood. With this set, been researching a lot of the data. You in a mood too, Bruce? A lot of the data with Magic the Gathering. And I don't know, I'm just besides myself. I guess I'm in the kind of the borderline of being the guy that plays the fiddle while Rome burns and just enjoying it while it goes down, or the other guy that's just gonna rant and rave and you know, try one last time to kick against the system as it's over. I can't justify or rationalize this Commander Master of what's going on in the marketplace, and then just looking at some other the market indicators and then really researching what has been going on in the collectibles TCG. Oh, what?
Oh, just go back. You're like,
he's touching
you
me.
got. Next time we got to put makeup on.
Oh, there are lights.
Yes.
It's just, I don't know. It's been a wild ride since the pandemic, and when I'm saying like purging subscribers, I'm just tired of this mentality of people that have just been cheerleading what's been going on and acting like it's been such a good thing. And I've just been contemplating why our business has been struggling, and everything. I know I don't like Wizards of the Coast and their direction they've done. I don't like some of what my competitors have done. But every finger points back to the mismanagement of the economy and what the government did. And research after watching Rudy's videos and really researching into the PPP loans and just typing in just go to a bunch of these TCG companies and everything else and type it in and see how much money was pumped into the collectibles market by people. Well, you can actually make a justification for like people like Card Kingdom, but we'll talk about them in a second, where they were making record profits while taking out $1 million loans, where they're actively hiring employees while taking out these employment protection loans, which is just, in my opinion, fraud. But again, you can't really hate the player. You have to hate the game. And the book all stops on the government's mismanagement of the economy. And again, I want to sound like, though, a lot of people, this is such a sensitive topic for this, you know, politically speaking, or even, I mean, generational speaking. There's a big difference between my generation and the newer generations with how their views on the government. But it was just loans that didn't need to happen, for one, because the collectibles market was insane during the pandemic. And what it did is it caused so many people to get into this industry that had no business getting into the industry. It's like if plumbing all of a sudden became such a huge demand and people that weren't adequate plumbers decide, I'm going to go be a plumber for my basement and you know, try to make a bunch of money. And then, of course, everyone gets into it, everyone crashes. I know people locally that quit their jobs to flip cards, or to, you know, I knew a guy that tried to flip Pops, Funko Pops, because it was such a hot market, quit his job, everything, started up these companies. And now what we're seeing is the chickens come home to roost, where the free money that was injected into the system by these loans and by these stupid economic policies led to just a massive run on collectibles, which then led to companies like Wizards of the Coast overprinting. And it just wasn't slowing down, because there was just so much money. I think we all underestimated the amount of money that was put into the collectibles market and put into all these people. So one of the things too, like I'm jumping all over the place because I've been researching so many factors. So we just had a pro tour. Do you think it affected prices on?
Wait, when did we have a pro tour? Yeah. I didn't see any
advertising.
advertising.
Okay, we can talk about Wizards and competency too. But you think it had any effect on the market?
No.
Nope.
It doesn't.
It just had some regular bannings to have any effect on the standard market?
No.
Nope. Everything is so stagnant. Everything is, these new commanders coming out, it used to actually increase, like people actually going out and buying singles and stuff like that. It's just, we are on this really stagnation where I think the market's actually worse than what we think. I think that collectors are just being stubborn, or not collectors, sorry, investors and sellers are just being stubborn right now because they don't want to take losses, and they don't need to at the moment, because like I said, these loans and everything else, they're still only a couple years old and they were free. So people are still, their coffers are still slightly full. They haven't really felt the economic pressures of stuff. There were things like Lord of the Rings that got some sellers back up into the red, or into the black from the red. But I think that this Commander Masters, where everyone losing money on this set, is just going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Again, it's just,
half of these have been in the secret lair already.
Yeah, no, well, no, I was looking at other things that were just recently reprinted too, and then with Wilds of the Drain coming out, with a lot of the cards included in Wilds of the Drain, with Modern Horizons 2 still having so much stock, the prices on Modern Horizons 2, it's insane that Scalding Tarn continues to go down, which is, I like to reference Scalding Tarn because Scalding Tarn it's the Ring of Jordan from remember Diablo when that was a currency of Diablo 1, all you old timers. Is a thing that was always so liquid. Scalding Tarn was something you could fill your entire binder full of and you could just trade them like crazy.
$60 to $80 card all day long.
Yeah, it's now down to $20.
I know.
And it keeps going down because there's just we underestimated the supply of Magic the Gathering. Pokemon in the exact same situation. Even other sets and we have the problem too is we have all these new things coming in like Sorcery and Lorcana. And One Piece is doing good. All these other cards are competing, and it's just created a scenario that's just absolutely backbreaking, which is crazy because Magic the Gathering, I would say, is still in really good shape as far as players playing the game, and it should be a healthy thing. And it's just like if you want to point the finger again, it's these economic policies that ruined the market because before all this happened. You had to have some sort of business sense. You had to have some sort of reason to be in this game. Like us, we have a store. I had years and years of cheerleading this game. I made a career out of it where I was able to know the market before I went into it. And what happened during this post-COVID, where everyone with started a business license, started selling things on the card, it was that you couldn't lose with free money. If you didn't, you'd still, and that's what we're seeing right now with all these people, because I keep looking at TCG Play, like, how are these people still in business? How are these people still in business? How are these people still in business? Because they're making loss after loss after loss. I was looking at Pokemon packs the other day, and there's a guy that has over 1,000 of them for sale for $1.85 for Pokemon. There's no way at those margins.
No, they're just trying to get money back.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, well, how is this guy still in business? And I'm looking at him like, okay, because I'm sure this loan was free. I'm sure the way they got into this had no repercussions. And this is like the chickens are now coming home to roost. And I absolutely do not know where to go with this. Wizards of the Coast has to stop. They have to slow down. I know.
They have the biggest issues. I said when Secret Lairs and when Hasbro took over, they're going to be beholden to the shareholders and they must show a profit every single quarter.
Well,
if they don't continue to keep showing a profit to Hasbro's, then what's going to happen? They have to. It's not going to stop. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. They got to keep showing more and more and more and more profits to Hasbro. Otherwise, the shareholders are going to be mad.
It just makes me sad because I think we were in a healthy state of the game, a healthy market. Like I didn't like the Amonkhet era because it was just those were where you look at Wizards of the Coast and like these are terrible decisions that you're making all across the board, and the market responded to that. But they sort of got a flow and a better way of handling things during like the War of the Spark era, and then they just got addicted. They got addicted to this crack and see how far they can push the envelope. And there just wasn't any repercussions, again, because it was those perfect scenario of the market of being able to absorb stuff because of all the bad economic policies that just led and enabled people to, like, again, I'm just really salty because I'm looking at my struggling business, I'm looking at other people's, and I'm trying to like point my finger like, what went wrong, what happened? And I'm like, my competitors didn't have
Amazon!
Well, we can even talk about that, where that sort of stuff that came into the thing. But I'm actually not even really on the blaming of the WotC and the Amazon as much as I am that there are so many people, so many speculators, so many closet investors, so many people that have no business using Magic the Gathering as their 401k. They got into it all at the same time because they just like saw dollar signs and they didn't understand, like, if you're not qualified to be a plumber, don't be a plumber. If you don't understand how the market works and these stuff, and everyone quit their job and decided they're gonna try to make money on their hobby, which again, I get it. I did it years ago, but I'd like to say I was a little more qualified than most people to do stuff with this. Working for a store before this and really in the industry with like when I used to travel around with cool stuff and like really look in the market stuff. But anyway, I don't know. So here I am. Here we are with Commander Masters and it's been kind of a ranty stuff. But what I'm really upset about this is another mishandling about it. So the whole problem with this now that I have angry customers, and I'm sorry, a lot of you, my patrons, I know you guys are flippers. You guys are dead on this set because I'm going to get it out before release. Before August 4th, it will be most likely in your hands of when it gets into it for all the people that then want to go on their TCG store. Then unfortunately though, is many of the other places, since we're super close to the distributor, they didn't decide to panic and try to send it to us early. So a lot of these stores got permission from Wizards of the Coast, or a lot of the distributors got permission from Wizards of the Coast. If they had things that were like West Coast to East Coast, they could ship early because they were so afraid of that UPS strike. That then all this stuff got 2-day shipping a couple weeks ago into the hands of people, and you see all those YouTubers that are they're not stores that have been opening up product now for the last week. I think the earliest one I saw was like a week ago of someone opening up a collector box for a little over a week ago.
Well, it happened with Lord of the Rings
well,
too.
that was like a miss. Like again, those are like holes in the Canadian. Like I figured that out. That it's like they're having problems with imports, and so Wizards trying to make sure that those markets have their stuff. And then it's ends up being super quick, and then people are shady. And again, the buck really does fall a little bit on Wizards of the Coast here too. They need to start actually auditing. They need to start okay, who are these people that are leaking this stuff out early and putting it? But what I'm going back with this is like, if you rely on this stuff to get this the whole market with all this set, since they're overprinting and flooding the market with everything, is you have like this razor thin time period of being able to sell stuff before prices just crash. And with this, they've already crashed. The mass box openers that had the East Coast West Coast relationship, the distributors allowed to ship those early. They've already opened them all up. They've already blown them all on TCG Player. There is no money left. Lord of the Rings just swallowed everything up. And now people are just it is a race to the bottom. I've never seen a market just absolutely collapse as quickly as possible for a set that's arguably the best set ever printed. Again, like this outclasses Double Mastery. Look at the EV that was in this set before.
Seems a lot like comic books and baseball cards used to be.
Yes, well, we can talk about that too, because it's the same thing that everyone and their dog got into trying to sell. It's the whole Dutch tulip. That's the whole reference back from the,
the whole reason
1600s time period.
Why are there more cards on the reserve list?
Well, I don't want reserve lists. I don't want stuff like that. Like I said, we can point the finger everywhere, but again, going back to what I've seen, the big culprit for all of this was the bad economic policies that led to no risk for people being able to get into this stuff. And then, the people who didn't participate, like myself, that didn't get into these shady stuff. It makes me livid. Again, you can just go up and look up, like I was watching Rudy's video, and you just go look up any major company, major player in Magic the Gathering. Look how much money they took out on these loans. And, millions, while they were actively hiring people, because the market was so insanely hot during 2020 and 2021. And it's just absolutely disgusting. And again, the chickens are coming home to roost, but unfortunately what it's going to do is it's just going to kill something, in my opinion, that was healthy. Do I think Magic the Gathering's dead? No. I think it's going to take a long time to recover. Could it still die? If Wizards still continues to go down this road, absolutely can. And I'm sick of hearing these little anecdotes like, oh, New Phyrexia was the best-selling standard set of all time. Okay, go look at New Phyrexia now. Look how much product is still on the market for New Phyrexia.
Warehouses. There's got to be warehouses.
They're blowing out New Phyrexia. Or not New Phyrexia, sorry, Phyrexia All Blue 1. And then they're like, okay, Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings was the best-selling set of all time. It just destroyed everything else. Guess what's back in stock at every level on everything but
seriously,
bundles.
It's back in stock again?
Everything's back in stock again for Lord of the Rings.
My gosh. And there's another set of it.
They are not doing things. If you look back since the products that existed from 2019 onwards, there are still just warehouses are loaded full of them. Things like War of the Spark are crashing that we thought would be at this point that would be starting to go up because they're such popular sets. And that's the problem with that time period too, is they keep pushing the envelope and they keep just reprinting cards that it makes these sets look terrible. And I'm gonna have a whole video on this on what I would do on my Rogue Market channel to fix this. They need hiatuses and reprints. They need to start communicating with their design teams of not double printing, doubling season, and smothering ties twice in a row. So
literally a month-to-month doubling season reprints.
They need to respect their reprint equity. I know that there's been a meme with some of these investors and finance channel about that stuff, where why should Wizards care about this sort of thing? Because they set the playing field. They were the ones that decided that this was going to be a collectible card game. They're the ones that were going to price the set boosters at $340 based upon the value of cards in them. Otherwise, why can you justify a set booster box with just such outrageous price? $340, by the way, is the distribution cost, not that what it should have been sold for. Now it's being sold for $340 because again, I think that the final thing that just made me upset is I was just going through YouTube, and this guy that helps small businesses start. He has a little podcast, and he said you should not start a store. He would never start a small business store unless you can guarantee 80% margins. 80% margins is what he's saying, because that's where the risk really hits. Like loans, if you're taking out loans that are up to anywhere from 6 to 15% when you're starting businesses, and then you have your overhead of starting to have to hire employees and then all the time and management and other stuff has to go into it. That if you're starting a new business, you need to be making 80%. And what he really likes is 400% margins. That's where he's like, that's where most of those are more service oriented. So it's like, okay, what's the cost of my time and stuff like that. But still, even he said with products, the cost of goods, you need to be shooting for 80%. You guys want to take a guess of what the profit margins
It's
have
like
been?
5%.
Oh yeah, like I don't even know how. Like some of these people too are just like I know that there's these dummies that are just they're working on like cashback and like if you get a high seller rating with eBay, they give you a little bit of a dump at the end of it. But again, at that point, it's like, geez, that is a lot of work to be making minimum wage or just barely scraping by or whatnot. And it's just again, it's killed the industry for everyone else that. And these things were going to have a domino effect. Stores go out of business. That's less things sold. First of all,
We'd have to sell 1,200 booster boxes just to pay.
Well, I know. Well, that's the whole thing too. Is it's just there's a lot of just this nonsense that's happened with it that I think is gonna. The biggest thing too is it's got people trained. That's not the right word I'm looking for, but to actually want cheap Magic product. That people won't pay over $100 a booster box for.
No, people didn't want to or pre-order. Commander,
because they think that's like a fair price when it costs $97 to get it from the distributor.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing. Is like it's going to take a lot of pain. That's the best thing I can say. Anyway, I'm going to open this up and get this shipped off. There's my rant. Look for I'll have more on Rogue Deck Builder and Rogue Market, I'm sure, in the future. Sorry for the rant. See you guys later.